So what is it then? Tell me, I want to know. What hold has that lame excuse of a man got over you that makes you want to keep on fighting his corner? He is family. This is some kind of joke that you're both in on together, innit? Hey? I refuse. I refuse to accept that me and him have anything more in common than the colour of our skin. Go on, refuse it. Refuse it until the cows come home. He is my brother's son. Well, I would rather burn down this house with him in it than accept him as family. I think you better go and sleep off the drunkenness in you. You'll talk properly when you're sober up.
Hit by an ultimatum, I gotta get my life together. They say when it rains it falls, the sunshine don't shine forever. I've been hit by an ultimatum, I gotta get my life together. They say when it rains it falls, the sunshine don't shine forever.
Now, did you just say what you said to get him off me case? Or is there some truth in it? How would I benefit from making up such a thing? How did you find out? On the way back from the job fair this afternoon, I did get a text message from my cousin Beryl saying I was to come and collect a letter that she had received for me from back home. Was a letter from my dad? No. You remember I did tell you about my brother that did get killed in the hit and run? You were talking about my dad all along. That is right. You know, he was the first one out of the three to fly over to England. 1967. He did land a job as a bus driver, staying with a family friend in Birmingham. A friend in need is a friend indeed, as they say. Well, when we first reached England, we wasn't made to feel so welcome, you know. So we did decide it was best for us to pull together and help each other. When I did reach here 2 years after my brother, in 1969, the house I was staying in did have 5 different families staying there. 5 families? With 1 kitchen and 1 bathroom between us. You had Mr. Squire, his wife and 3 picnic. You had Mr. White and his wife with a man we call Dougie. I think he was a prince, Dougie Prince, and his wife and 2 children. And then you had Mr. Moore with his wife, and then it was me and my brother. The queue must have started from the front garden to use the bathroom in the morning. Well, we did manage to find a way around the toilet situation. Just used to have a bucket in every room in case, you know. You lot must have really struggled when someone needed a number 2. Oh, but imagine all the jerk chicken, fried chicken, Curry chicken. Sound like you've been doing your research. Well, if it weren't for YouTube, where was I? Jerk chicken. I said that. Oh, and you got Levi roots, your reggae sauce. Well, actually, our food that we eat from back home wasn't accessible over here in England when we reached here. It didn't start selling that till later on. I remember they used to drive around in them van, selling food to the family them. It wasn't cheap. So what did you live on? Fish and chips? Fish and chips? It wasn't so lucky. We couldn't afford that. We used to get by on eggs, rice, and from time to time we did like to cook some corned beef. Oh, eggs. Bad enough having to bear the smell of an eggy fart. Let alone number two. Never been a fan of eggs, me. Then you certainly is your father's son. Yes, my brother Guilford had a weak stomach when it come to certain foods. Eggs was one of them. You know what they say about the apple of the tree, don't you? Then your dislike for cricket must come from your mother. Because if anybody loved cricket more than me, it was your father. Yeah. It didn't take him long when he come over here to set up a cricket team. Yes, man, him really did love him cricket. But your dad did have a wicked temper. Way. Back in the days, there was a thing called the color bar, which was a sign that they would have up in the shop windows or house windows or written upon the wall in big, bold, white writing. A sign that did say, no blacks, no dogs, and no Irish. And there was this next slogan they did have written on the wall. It was KBW. And I work out what it mean. Keep Britain white. So we was really up against it in those days, you see. I remember one Sunday afternoon when me, your dad, and the rest of the cricket team was celebrating winning the district league. Now, many pubs did refuse our kind, but we did manage to find one pub that was all right with our people being there. So, we're going to the pub now, and I recall your father being waiting to be served at the bar. And before the barman did serve him, there was an Englishman stood next to your dad at the bar. So when they serve him and go to serve your dad did say, then why make you charge I more than you charge him and we're having the same drink? The barman did look upon your dad and him say, now look, Chalky, if you don't like it, you know where the door is. I'd have made him wear it. The worst thing he could have said. Chalky. So now, the Englishman that was stood at the bar, who was served before your dad, him turn around and him take up your dad's drink and him hold it to him mouth. And him he spit in the pint, place it on the bar. Then him turn around and laugh with him friend. So, your father pick back up the pint now and him hold it over the man's head so. And him tip it down on him bald head. Next thing you know, the man turn around and him just swing for your father. Your father duck and him swing back, him lick him, and the whole pub now is fighting. Next thing you know, a paddy wagon. In fact, I must see 3 paddy wagon they turn up outside the pub. And the policeman with them baton did come for me, your father, and the rest of the the black boy them on the cricket team. And that was the first time we did catch trouble with the police in England. Excuse me. Are you Tariq? You said that Virgil had been talking to your sister, that by accounts is 15 years old. Everything I said in the video, my brother, was the truth. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing you in any way whatsoever. I just wanted to know if the matter was ever brought to the attention of the police. It is because of my sister's refusal to tell me what was said in the messages why I posted the video. But I would have thought, now the video's gone viral, it would increase chances of it being a strong case. I mean, now it's got people's attention, you know, with the jury and that. In the ideal world, yes. But in the real world, she despises me for making the video. And it may have cost us our relationship, but at least it has made Virgil aware that I know. So how and when did you find out that he was talking to your sister? It was her phone, which I did confiscate from her for she was being very rude to my mother. Her attitude has been very, very bad recently, which is not good for my mother's blood pressure. When I had her phone, I asked her for a passcode, and I was looking, I see his name in her DMs. So I discreetly take her to the side and challenge her. That is when she snatched the phone and deleted the messages. This happened 24 hours before I make the video. By the sound of things, I'd say you and me that were pretty close. Well, we did spend more time together in our childhood. You know, growing up in Jamaica, we didn't have no TV or toys to entertain us. So we keep ourselves occupied out in the fields. Sometimes stopping the mongooses from stalking the chicken them. One thing I remember about your father, he was a serial bedwetter up until the age of 13. Is him catch the most beating out of the three away? Me, him, and your Aunt Marcia. Is she still alive? Yes, she is living in New York with her daughter Sinita and our son-in-law Myrtle and their 2 children. It's quite mad, ain't it? How one could be disconnected from his real family by being adopted into another. I suppose when you think of it, it couldn't have been easy for you. Were I the only child that my dad had? You are the only son he had in England. You have 3 of a daughter back home. Shelly Ann, Dolores, and Patsy. Patsy is the oldest one. She did send me the letter. Do you think I'll ever get to meet any of them? You want the good news or the bad news first? Give me the bad news first, so we can get it over with. The bad news is, it may take the death of a senior member of the family before you meet them. The good news is, yes, you will meet them one day. Well, you never know. By then I just may be able to pluck up enough courage to let the barber touch me hair. Make me look like I belong to somebody. It's not beneficial for her to sweep what did or could have happened between her and Virgil under the carpet. But her speaking up could potentially save the next young girl from being a victim. So what do you want me to do?
You want me to make her into a puppet? I'll make her speak to the police. Of course not. Look, we've got to be practical here. If this is the type of man he is, then my dad needs to be aware. Because recently he's been made to feel real cozy in our house recently. So tell me, why are you pushing so hard for him to be punished? You want to see him rotting where the streets are jail, but why? Well, evidently he's still got his demons. And I just don't think he's the type of influence that my dad needs around him, if I'm honest. It sounds very personal. Are you sure it is not? Well, it is and it's not. I mean, I was all good with him being mates with Dad and popping round every now and then. He could do with the company. But moving in altogether was not on the cards at all. But you seem very adamant. If you know my sister, I'd understand. You know, maybe you're right, you know. I just don't trust him, you know. When I saw your video, I saw something I could root for. And I thought, well, being we're on the same page, and we both want the same thing, justice, then we might as well work together. When I made the video, it wasn't because I suspected my sister was being groomed. I made the video because he owed me money and has been avoiding me for a long time. So wait, you mean to tell me that... You mean to tell me that he's not a nonce? My brother, when did you see me make such allegations? Look, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
So, what do you think?
Wow. I could even see me forward. I haven't been able to do that for years. You know, considering that you're not a barber, I really like it. Oh, I feel like a brand new man. Actually, I feel quite handsome. Oh, Winston, I really do appreciate you, you know. Not just because of the haircut, but for being there. You know, I really don't know how I'd made it through. Okay, we didn't exactly meet each other on the best of terms, but we're here. And I'm over the moon to know that I've got an uncle like you.
Sure.
Thanks.
Listen, I think I owe you both an apology. Look, my head's been all over the place from the beginning of the week when I found out that my brother would be travelling abroad today for the first time ever, alone. So, now that I spoke to him and he's arrived safe, I'm feeling a bit relieved. And about Virgil moving in, Dad, I think you've done the right thing. Even more so now we know that he's family. So, To celebrate, I stopped off at Tesco's to grab us all a bottle so we could celebrate him properly. Just go and grab some glasses. For you. Thank you. For you. New beginnings. New beginnings. New beginnings. So what is the real reason you change your mind? And before you reply, remember it's me you're speaking to. Well, I must have grown a conscience. Simple, really. I mean, Christmas is round the corner, and it doesn't feel right putting him out. Especially now I know that he's related. Thank you. Hey, Dad. Do you think he'll be up for a game of FIFA? Maybe when he wake up, he's flat out asleep on his chair right now. I think maybe just calling me too. I'll see you in the morning.